Travis Sawyer.
Good evening. President Bush, already being pummeled by Democrats on the left, has now heard some thunder on the right. Conservative Republicans increasingly worried that the White House has no clear program to deal with the foundering U.S. economy. For the president, who also faces complaints his administration is in disarray, this is not welcome news. White House correspondent Ann Compton has more.
President Bush returned from Camp David today to find a Republican congressional rebellion on his hands. 82 House members, calling themselves loyal Republicans, signed a letter begging Mr. Bush to appoint a domestic policy czar, conservative housing secretary Jack Kemp, to do what the president has not for the economy, take the offensive.
We need somebody we can work with, somebody who's innovative, somebody that knows the Congress and can deal with it. And we think the president can use the program we came up with in conference the other day as a blueprint for a real recovery package, and that Jack Kemp's the man who can sell it.
The Republican frustration is a red flag, according to a senior staff member from the Reagan White House.
What the conservatives want is for George Bush to be Reagan on domestic policy. They think he's caving in too often to the left. They think he's on the defensive. They want to go on the offensive.
Complaints are clearly aimed at the president and his abrasive chief of staff, who was waiting for the helicopter this afternoon. John Sununu got a firm thumbs up from his boss. Despite accusations, Sununu mangled civil rights and interest rate statements over the last 2 weeks. And Sununu says the president and Mrs. Bush both expressed their support in private.
We talk every day, lots and lots of times. There's never been any expression of a concern on the issues that you've listed there, and I feel very, very comfortable with the relationship we have.
So far, President Bush shows no sign of being fed up with John Sununu, and aides predict if there is any domestic policy czar, it will likely be the president himself. Ann Compton, ABC News, the White House.
And while the White House tries to get a little traction to keep its wheels from spinning, the Democratic candidates are building up speed in their presidential campaigns. They are running against each other. But so far, the real target is back in Washington. Here's Mike Von Friend.
They are traveling as a pack this weekend that sounds like it smells blood. From Chicago to snowy Des Moines and on to Sioux Falls, the cast of Democratic candidates put on what amounted to a tag team White House bashing extravaganza.
George Bush has taken the party of Abraham Lincoln and turned it into the party of David Duke.
I tell you in 1991 that Americans know plain and clear that on the issue of health care, George Bush is guilty of malpractice.
And a couple of days ago, Dan Quayle announced that he would be the pit bull of this campaign. That terrified every fire hydrant in America.
Even the party chairman took a turn.
George Bush is saying to the American people, my dog Millie ate my economic recovery plan. Can't find it.
But this newfound enthusiasm is not translated into newfound money. One reason is, of course, the recession, but another appears to be Mario Cuomo.
There is a certain element of Democrat activists that want to wait and see what he does, for fear that if he gets in, some of them may drop out, some of them may lose their funding, and therefore they don't want to be too far out on a limb.
It shifts from where are the Democrats going to whether Mario Cuomo is going to get in the race. And frankly, it's not fair to the party and it's not fair to our candidates.
So as long as many feel there is someone missing from this picture, there will be something missing in campaign war chests. But with or without Mario Cuomo, there is clearly nothing missing from the Democrats' no-holds-barred assault on the president. Mike Monfrem, ABC News, Des Moines.
Of course, the man who was not on the campaign trail in Iowa or New Hampshire or anywhere else, the man who critics say has been playing the Democrats' Hamlet for too long, Mario Cuomo, made an unusual appearance on ABC's This Week with David Brinkley and sounded like a candidate, even if he isn't one. Here's Cokie Roberts.
Will he or won't he? That was the question raised by Governor Cuomo's decision to break his ban on Sunday morning television appearances. ABC's Sam Donaldson popped the question.
Are you running for president?
Not at this moment, and nor am I struggling over the decision. I'm struggling over the facts, as I think I've told you before. And once I get all of the facts, I'll make the decision, I've said, in less than 3 hours.
Among the facts, New York State's estimated $3.6 billion deficit. Republicans plan to constantly remind the voters of what they call the nightmare of New York. The governor blames the national economy for his state's problems.
85% of the American people live in states that are in trouble. Is it reasonable to think that all the governors and all the mayors and all the local legislators went mad at the same moment, that they were all wild, liberal, poor managers?
And if that's not combative enough, try this.
You referred to Vice President Quayle as Danny the cabin boy.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you did say it, Governor.
Me, Sam, don't be upset if you get the facts wrong.
Tough. That was the image Mario Cuomo clearly wanted to project. But what about decisive? What about making up his mind on the presidential bid so the other candidates can get on with their campaigns?
I don't want to be cavalier. I don't want to do it by taking a poll. When you run out of time, then you make the decision. I'm not yet out of time.
But he soon will be. Democratic leaders are getting tired of Mario Cuomo waiting in the wings, distracting attention from the